Hello everybody, Francois here, and a video style that's totally not inspired by a YouTuber named Waffle Time that you totally shouldn't go check out. Terraria has an abundance of enemies. Some of them last a total of 2 seconds before getting ringed out for their lunch money, and some of them can toss your salad so unbelievably hard that your nards are now permanently twisted. So I'm here to answer your not burning question. Can you beat Master Mode Terraria without enemies? Before we start, I have to lay out the gamer ground rules. 1. I must play in Journey Mode with the difficulty slider set on Master Mode and with enemy spawns disabled. 2. Voodoo demons, invasions, and pillars are the only times that enemy spawns are allowed, or else progression would be either impossible or so unbelievably slow that I would be in my 70s before I finished the playthrough. 3. Journey Mode abilities and powers are only allowed for voodoo dolls, pillar fragments, and the celestial sigil. And finally 4. I will be using a handful of quality of life mods that will be named in the description down below. With all the rules out of the way, let's get this eerily calm playthrough started. I'm not gonna lie, I'm half asleep recording this disclaimer, but please keep in mind that all footage seen here was before 1.4.5. Please keep that in mind. We start like any ordinary playthrough. Deforestation. You see, with all these dumb imbecilic ass trees out of the way, we can make room for highways, apartment buildings, businesses, and factories that will surely benefit our wallets with absolutely zero regard for the ecosystem and food chains we're destroying along the way. Look at these absolutely beautiful 5-star houses that will be charging minimum wage workers $10,750 to stay in every week. Journeying to the left side of the world reveals a cave that has a dirty, foul-smelling book, a moss-covered, broken radar, and a stupid, useless spear. Only a short distance later, we find that the STD-riddled corruption is right next door. So we do what any self-respecting Terrarian would do and dive right in, considering that enemies simply do not exist in this world. After failing to get enough bombs to get a musket, we then charge towards the right side of our world, finding an idiotic, downright dumb umbrella, and a poison dart that decided that today of all days was a great time to shove itself so far up my ass that I could only sit with my left ass cheek. Heading back, we have a run-in with a boulder that made my balls shrivel for half a second, and find a golden chest with a stinky magic mirror in it. We find I'm going to take every poison dart trap, remove all of its darts, then fashion a certain light of the flesh variety to it. God damn it. Back home, we decided to make our base of operations before we head right back into that cave to enact our revenge, making the dart trap fear for its life as it hears every plap that goes into its dartless mouth. In the cave, we see that we died for a sleek and sexy cloud in a bottle, and a heart crystal that smells like strawberries for some reason. Venturing further, we find some stupid fucking beach loot, and another poison dart that clearly didn't hear about the poison dart trap incident of 2026 and sends us right back to spawn. God damn it. Back at base, we decided to build even more rat-infested housing that will charge $2,170 for a single night's stay, before charging right back into the cave with a head full of steam and deal with the dart trap that will now get the same treatment as the dart trap incident of 2026. We also see that we died for a stupid ass flare gun. Wonderful. We also find some more stupid fucking beach loot that was right above a mushroom biome. We find yet another no dick having mirror before heading back to the mushroom biome for more stupid fucking beach loot, and an extractor that gets my morning wood standing almost as tall as a certain someone who may or may not be watching this video. You know who you are. With our base of operations set up fully now, we head further right into our world, rope up to a sky island, and find an ass bouncing shiny red balloon and a downright attractive aglet. We also find the jungle, which is mysteriously absent of enemies, another stupid ass umbrella, vine book from hell, and another ass cancer corruption that planted itself in a desert for some reason. We then venture to the left of our world, only finding the dungeon, a boomerang that I would throw into fire and laugh as it screamed, and more stupid fucking beach loot. We then swing back to that corruption on the left and get enough bombs to break a shadow orb, giving us a musket. We dig out a elevator and go exploring some more, looking for a full set of platinum armor. Oh look, a chest! I'm going to tear off my ass cheeks, dip them in a sewer, and put them back on, giving a literal meaning to the term swamp ass. We go back to that chest only to see we died for mirror hell. We look around some more, finding a band of regeneration and 2 fists full of fuck all. We go back to the base to drop off our findings and head back down, going to the right this time only to find a sweet, sexy, dare I say, succulent set of mint condition Hermes boots. We keep venturing and get our salads tossed once again by a chest that hooked up every self-defense mechanism known to man. We think for a bit before we go and explore the underground desert, mining up all of the desert fossil, considering we're going to be ranged for a good portion of this playthrough. With a full set of fossil armor, we see that someone is watching with their headset on in our gamer lobbies, ready to shout slurs and unheard things to us to try and degrade us in our Terraria world. This is what has been plaguing our world, watching us from the shadows to try and make sure that we know his name. We duck, dodge, weave, and hurl various insults back at him, causing him to enter his second phase. This makes him scream even louder, so much so that we smell his breath that hasn't been washed or brushed in 20 years. We also start using our Hermes boots to outrun him, while also telling him that we saw his mother naked the other night and that we will be paying her a visit again to give him another sibling, which causes him to get so embarrassed he combusts on the spot. This felt so good, in fact, that we decided to degrade him for a secondary time. With the eye humiliated, we suddenly grow a massive god complex that is shattered at the slightest bit of inconvenience. Like waiting 2 minutes in a drive-thru that advertises 1 minute 59 seconds per order. It was 1 second longer than advertised. Why wouldn't we march into the restaurant, yell at all the teenagers who are getting paid $4 an hour for 12-hour work shifts, then post it to TikTok at how this was the worst place we'd ever been to? We charge over to the corruption, making a small arena for the lung cancerous worm that smelled like a fart that was actually a liquid shot of brown that suddenly introduced itself to us in public. We degraded the eye for some more cash money moolah, making sure that we have enough money before taking to the skies for any kind of Sky Island loot, finding an unlucky horseshoe and a clean smelling, partially arousing Star Fury. We then grab what little potions we can and go summon up the Eater of Worlds, and immediately we see that we do not have the armor nor the arena space, and we die under the pressure of the massive smegma smelling worm. So we get to thinking, how can we tie this worm that is now haunting my pantaloons into a balloon animal and let him go, sending him into orbit? We re-equip our platinum armor and go hunting around the jungle, looking for more heart crystals. We find a pair of Hermes boots, okay, an anklet of the wind that almost had me dropping trow and partaking in a session of self-love, a stupid and useless staff of regrowth, a boomstick that almost had my stick going boom, another anklet of the wind, okay, a dumb and imbecilic pair of shoe spikes, yet another boomstick that doesn't have me angry nor happy, as this looting session was just for heart crystals that I have only found one of thus far. Even more stupid fucking beach loot, and a sharpening station that has me drool and ogle at my screen in public, causing everyone around me to grow concerned. We go home and see that both of the boomsticks that we got were not feeling very up to it today and had horrible prefixes. God damn it! Even with our shoddy boomstick, we grab what little preparations we can make and charge over to the corruption again, this time seeking revenge for our previous worming. We summon up the ass worm for a secondary time, bringing him up to our arena and begin to bring him out for his lunch money, dealing an absolutely criminal amount of damage with the Jester's arrows we had. Even with the hits we took, we see that expanding the arena and getting more defense was the right plan, as we're completely and utterly twisting his foul worm body into a knot simply for that succulent game progression. With the preparations we made, we managed to pull out another victory for our absolutely massive god complex that is only growing bigger with every passing second. With the Eater of Worlds dead, we make our nightmare pickaxe and head down to hell for an epic gamer mowing session. With an absolutely jaw-dropping amount of hellstone, we grab some obsidian and make ourselves a set of that piping hot molten armor, making us unreasonably and completely overpowered, as well as making all of the people who dare look at us get the shakes in the legs from how good we look. With no time to waste, weapons that clap cheeks purple, and wanting to see just how horribly the big boner Skeletron will go, we make an arena for the massive bone man and summon him up. No buffs, no decent weapons, just wanting to see how it'll go when this happens. Did one of his hands just despawn? I swear to God, one of his hands just died. It's just gone. Oh, there it is. What the You know what? I'm not questioning. To this day, I still have no idea where his hand really went. Still wanting max health, we swing over to the underground snow biome, looking around for any heart crystals at all. We found, wouldn't you believe it, absolutely gobsmackingly nothing of use outside of a thick and sexy blizzard in a bottle before heading back home. We take out our anger of not getting any heart crystals on the eye more, making the eye wonder what he possibly did in a past life to deserve this kind of public degradation and humiliation. We look around for even more heart crystals underground and even at the tip of hell, and yet find absolutely nothing. Seeing how bad Skeletron went, we deal with a goblin army that we entirely wrote off early on in this playthrough, making all of their wives lust after us on account that their husbands don't have any genitals, yet not giving their wives anything, making the relationship between their husbands break down entirely and causing them to never talk again. Determined to get max health for the big boner, we look in every part of the underground we could have missed, finally finding the last few heart crystals for max health, giving the last heart crystal a big and sloppy wet kiss. With max health and a quickly diminishing god complex, we grab what little potions we can make and head over to the dungeon, waiting until nighttime in order to take on the Bone Man properly. And yes, I'm playing Balashra while I wait, doing painted deck on black stake right now. We summon the calcium enthusiast up and immediately get to work, using our Flamerang when he's far away and using the volcano whenever we can to get a jaw-dropping amount of damage on him. You see, we are forced to take down Skeletron as he believes that jelking is an actually proper, non-damaging way to increase penis size, and he's been spreading it to all of his TikTok followers. We see this and immediately get repulsed as he is willingly spreading false information and having his followers damage their own penises simply for his own financial gain. So we make a call-out post on Twitter, thus enraging him and making him type on his keyboard so fast that his hands fall off and we're left with only his head. We handle the combo of our Flamerang and Volcano expertly, soaking him in damage, and Twitter call-out posts until he eventually folds and deletes his entire online presence, giving us another epic gamer victory and growing our god complex once again to unseen levels. With Skeletron's jelking enthusiast channel taken down, we charge into the dungeon. You see, in this world where enemies don't spawn, we are limited entirely on how many golden keys we have from breaking pots in the dungeon, as we are after a cobalt shield and a shadow key. With this on our tiny feeble gamer hearts, we break quite literally every last pot in the dungeon, giving us 4 golden keys total. So with all 4 of our golden keys, we start opening chests, starting at the dungeon's entrance, hoping that all of the gambling we did at the casinos has paid off, knowing exactly how to play the house in order to get what we want. We go down the dungeon chests in the order they were generated in, getting a Muramasa, which will not help us at all and makes us grow 40 years older. We look for the second golden chest that was generated, giving us a cobalt shield that entirely reversed the rapid aging we did just a second ago. Now it was entirely up to luck if we got a shadow key or not. We looked in the last 2 chests we could get with our golden keys and find a blue moon and a magic missile that just so happened to have a shadow key sitting next to it. With our dungeon mission complete, we instantly make our way to hell, looking through all of the shadow chests in hopes we get a good weapon as well as breaking all of the pots for all the money in the world. The demon's houses are mysteriously empty except for a lot of used and intentionally sabotaged condoms. We can only imagine what possibly happened here as we strip hell of its natural resources. We get a flame lash, a sun fury, another sun fury, a dark lance, another flame lash, a flower of fire, a hellwing bow, another dark lance, another flower of fire, and another hellwing bow. This being a rare instance of getting every piece of shadow chest loot in a single world, which is nearly unheard of and also very refreshing. With all the weapons we will ever need, we make an arena for both the wall of flesh and to grind for voodoo demons. We get a voodoo demon spawn in no time at all, using our journey mode powers to infinitely duplicate the voodoo doll. With everything we could possibly ask for, we grab some potions, charge down to hell, and summon up the wall of flesh. We see that the wall of flesh is trying to contest us on how hard we could possibly be, so we grab our hellwing bow and let it do the talking. Seeing as we will not be showing the wall of flesh our meat stick, no sir, no ma'am. The hellwing bow does excellent work for us, shaming the wall of flesh for having a tiny penis for us without ever having to lift a finger. This causes the wall of flesh to speed up, attempting to reveal our size to the world, but we don't let it happen. Using our Hermes boots in combination with the hellwing bow, and the wall of flesh crumbles under the weight of all of the insults that were hurled its way in a victory that makes our god complex grow to crippling and downright criminal levels. The first thing we do is we finally find the Aether biome, setting up a few houses for that juicy pylon action. We then set out for the corruption, suplexing all of the demon altars we can before we go on another epic gamer mowing session, getting all of the hard mode ores for that sweet hard mode armor, making everyone drool and ogle at us in public for a change from the sheer attractiveness of this armor. With our new drip drop armor and proper weaponry, we charge over to the jungle, finding a hive, whipping up an arena, and summoning Queen Bee, as we need the witch doctor for later uses. We watch as her abdomen bounces with every movement. We want nothing more than to settle down with Queen Bee and make a hive to rule the world and to have waffles made for us every morning. However, we must remember that we're gamers, and we have sweet and juicy game progression to obtain, and as much as Queen Bee's succulence is tempting, we simply are unable to settle with her. We take her down, pocketing her number for late night sessions of bee love, and continue like nothing ever happened. Back at base, we upgrade our arena for the mech bosses, not knowing exactly how they'll go, completely and utterly oblivious to the fact that the mech bosses will be the single most annoying and dare I say insanity-inducing thing ever. We grab some potions and Blood Moon, woo! Sleep the days away, waiting for pirate invasion, woo! We make a volcano farm and listen as pirates that haven't showered in 40 years invade, attempting to make their way to us only to burn in death in the lava above. We set out the entire event, dealing with it very quickly before going right back to sleeping the days away. Blood Moon, woo! We lay in bed while we wait for this totally needed and necessary night to be over and continue to sleep when code red, we have a mech boss spawn. Without any mobility at all and a weapon that does absolutely buttfuck damage, we get our asses beat so hard that it physically pains us to sit down, immediately seeing just how horrible of an idea this playthrough really was. We start sleep. Goblin army, woo! We deal with the Goblin army, getting a Shadow Flame bow and a Shadow Flame hex doll from bringing out warlocks. With the Goblin army gone, we go back to sleeping and waiting when when DEFCON alert, another mech boss decides to grace us with his presence. Even with the mech boss we want, we see that our lack of mobility and defense gets us beaten harder than our dad when he saw that one tiny speck of dust was on the floor. We go back to sleeping and waiting, hoping that Blood Moon we get another spawn in a timely manner when Code Black. This time, the twins came to see what all of the hype was about with taking turns with our asses. It is a painfully slow but somewhat consistent battle. Our damage is very low and their damage is unbelievably jaw-droppingly high, so we stay away. This is when the worst case scenario happens. Our gravitation potion runs out. So we scramble, teleporting back home to grab everyone we have and hoping they don't despawn on us. With a glimmer of hope and a mountain of luck, they don't despawn and the battle is back on. We nearly have one of them dead. Why gravitation potions don't negate fall damage is so unbelievably and bafflingly stupid that I want to rip my eyebrows off. So we go back to waiting, full days passing in mere seconds. We lie in wait, cold, scared, hoping that the next mech boss will finally be an epic gamer victory that we Goblin Army! We deal with this totally needed and totally necessary event to be over, getting another stupid ass bow and a doll that makes me want to burn my nards in a fire. We wait more and Blood Moon pray, hoping that Goblin Army. We stick our foot so far up a single goblin's ass that we use it as a sock puppet with our foot, causing the goblins to run away in terror, getting a clean, sleek, and downright sensual Shadow Flame knife and a random mechanical eye. The Shadow Flame knife we got made us think a little bit, causing us to pivot into a melee build as we sleep until night, hoping to we sleep, wondering what kind of person we pissed off in a past life to deserve this kind of torture that has given us erectile dysfunction. We deal with the daily and totally needed goblin army when the very next night we had Skeletron Prime trying to sit on our flaccid penis once again. However, this time we take to the skies with our gravitation potion, dodging, weaving, and getting hit by every projectile known to man and soaking him in damage while keeping our health as high as we can. We see that the Shadow Flame knife does absolute work for us, acting as our bodyguard, blocking Prime from trying to take a ride on our meat stick that is slowly rising to full mast again from just how well this battle seems to be going. We take an ungodly amount of time, but eventually melt down Prime into a mechanical leash to try on Queen Bee next time. This victory gave us hope that maybe it was possible to complete the sick, torturous playthrough. Beating Skeletron Prime gave us access to a jetpack and better healing potions, increasing our odds of survival from 0.01% to 0.02%. Absolutely game busting for our god complex that was shattered from the sheer amount of spankings we took from toe-worshipping goblins and dog-shocking mech bosses. It didn't take long for the twins to come back and see what we were up to again. So we once again take to our arena, slap, clap, die, and cry. This entire ordeal has entirely removed my soul from my body and purged any and all emotions I may feel. It didn't take long for the twins to reappear, once again ringing us out and taking our lunch money in front of our college crush. We sleep and wait some more, wiping Blood Moon dirt and tears from our faces as we lay in bed, wondering if this challenge was even possible in the first place. It only took several purgatory sentences before vibrations were felt, and seeing as we haven't eaten Taco Bell, this tells us the destroyer is on its way. This time with a good weapon, a flimsy strategy, and a mountain of luck, we take to our mount, riding the skeleton go at Mach speeds while running away in terror from the massive worm that wants to worm its way into our ass and put us on a certain tentacle website. We once again rely on our Shadow Flame knife to do the talking and to act as our bodyguard. While we watch as all of our NPCs get wormed, we grab the destroyer and melt it down into a particularly phallic-shaped mold for Queen Bee to take with her wherever she goes so she doesn't miss us. With 2 of the 3 mech bosses down, we go back to sleep and wait even more, this time with a strategy, and here they are again to stomp on our nutsack, step into our skin, and take over our family. Before we could turn it into an epic gamer victory, Retinizer despawns, leaving us high, dry, and now even more pissed off at the duo that is haunting our nightmares. We sleep and wait for another Blood Moon spawn, in the meantime hoping to grab even more potions. Pirate invasion! That make us feel sick from the differences of thickness of each one. With a pirate staff and a plan, we make a black mold-infested house in the arena, making it large enough to fit our bed in. You see, since Retinizer seems to be able to 360 no-scope us from across several different games, we must mitigate this threat. Since Retinizer operates on line of sight, we can use the pirate staff in a small hole to kill him without any risk at all. With another spawn of the twins, we hop on our mount again and take to our arena, using the incredible speed to stay away from Retinizer and slowly beat Spasmatism to a bloody and oily pulp, teabagging his corpse in front of his brother and then turning to his brother with a menacing smile. We then take our Shadow Flame knife and jam it so far down Retinizer's urethra that he busts into his second phase and we teleport home, hiding away like a little baby coward, dealing with him in the slowest and painfulest way possible, basking in our honorable and glorious victory as we celebrate, going only a little feral until Queen Bee decides it was a good time to give us a treat with chocolate chip waffles and honey, grabbing a metric shit ton of chlorophyte as we think about what we could possibly do to woo the jungle's finest big plant mama. With a general plan, mainly using the Shadow Flame knife and the true Excalibur, we make the last set of armor work we're able to, dipping our balls in the IS morning cereal for old time's sake and for some more cash money. We then took some time to sleep and let life fruit spawn throughout our jungle, all the while dreaming and salivating about the jungle's finest that we would soon be indulging in. We hunt for some life fruit before we see that there's a Plantera right next to our Queen Bee arena. So we take the time to expand the arena into something that was more suitable for Plantera succulents and thick-ass cake. With the arena made, we sleep for more life fruits, going on an unreasonably long and boring grind for max health. With max health, potions, and a package for Plantera ready to be delivered, we look at the bulb so hard that it combusts and in comes Plantera. We put Plantera through the Circle Supreme 9000, seeing that she does indeed hit like a truck in several ways. We oogle and admire her massive plant dump truck from afar, telling Plantera that we had a lovely evening, but we have somewhere else to be and we must leave her home immediately. This makes her bust into her second phase, where she decides that we aren't leaving until she's satisfied. Take that either way you will. We see that she hits even harder in her second phase, seeing as she's desperate for us to stay, but unfortunately we must leave at this very moment. We get dangerously close, but we see that Plantera is the one that finishes first, and she bursts into a pile of love, giving us her number for another good time at any moment we may want it. With Plantera down, she had some amazing weapons for us to grind, mainly looking at the Sealer, as that would be more than enough to carry us through the pillars and give us our final weapons, returning back not once nor twice, but a grand total of 10 different times, and still not getting the Sealer that we wanted. However, she did give us something else that was equally as, if not massively better, giving us the Glock that we had no idea she had, only it was unreal. With our quest to get the Seedler failing miserably, much like the time we tried to impress anyone, we charge into the Lizard Temple, finding it mysteriously empty. Perhaps they felt secondhand embarrassment from our failed Seedler grind and ran away, which is a perfectly reasonable explanation in our eyes. I wouldn't want to be around me either. We kick down Golem's door and see far too late that Golem has entirely embraced the terrible and obviously sexual YouTube ads that are advertising some kind of store. We see this and immediately grow very unsettled, as ads are a plague on the internet as a whole, and these particular kinds of ads are not supposed to be on YouTube considering how blatantly sexual they seem to be. We use our Venus Magnum and tear Golem apart, telling him that these ads are in fact not okay, and forcefully installing an ad blocker onto his computer so he can no longer see these ads. This was such a repulsive Golem that we had to bully him several times just to beat it into his head on how bad it really was. We deal with the totally needed and absolutely required 40th Goblin Army before quickly swinging over to the dungeon, busting into the Cultist subreddit and telling them that jailbait teens are illegal, causing the head mod to grow enraged and fight us, desperately trying to convince us that jailbait teens are perfectly legal and totally okay. We let our Venus Magnum do the talking for us, as if we were to engage with the Reddit mod Cultist, we would surely lose the last 2 remaining brain cells we had. Our Venus Magnum, while absolutely not the ideal weapon to be using, still does an acceptable amount of damage to the Reddit mod Cultist, causing him to start yelling and using slurs at us. But we still do not let up, and he deletes his entire subreddit as he folds under the pressure. With the Reddit mod Cultist down, we see far too late that these aren't any ordinary pillars. These are overly annoying influencer pillars. We start with the Mr. Beastification Solar Pillar. I made 100 homeless families a $10,000 breakfast, and the first to eat the entire thing gets $100,000 and a personal tickle on their ass about how they're— nope, no you didn't even give them anything, you just used them for content and moved on. So we triple Fister Blaster 9000 the pillar and move on to the Alpha Male Vortex Pillar. In order to make $1 million, you have to grind. The grind set comes before anything else. You have to make 7 figures or you're not a real man and you'll never find a girl. There is no way anyone believes you. The only thing you do is exploit lonely and desperate men for money that is most certainly obtained illegally from them. We suplex the pillar, putting it on the hub, and move on to the AI Slop Nebula Pillar. Watch this uplifting story that happened in another part of the world that totally wasn't just made up and spat out in 5 minutes from an AI that steals other content. No, AI has no place in this world and should be destroyed at all costs. We give the pillar a swirly supreme in the toilet and move on to the final free food Stardust Pillar. Give me free food and I'll give you a good review and a good showcase of your place, which will totally see your business boom with profit. The only reason you want free food is so you don't have to pay $2 for a meal, you fucking cheapskate. We sit on the Stardust Pillar as we move on to the final battle. We immediately die and get our asses chewed on so hard that it looks like ground beef back there. And it doesn't matter how many times we go at it, we always die. So we get to thinking, how in the blue fuck are we going to avoid the massive Moon Man and take him out when one hit does enough damage to make us experience real life pain? So we put our 2 brain cells together and hatch up a plan, making an overly long bridge in the sky, setting our spawn on one side before going and ringing out Golem even more for some more cash money, going into even more crippling debt while gambling, but we obtain more potions and summon him up for hopefully the final time. We use our strategy, chugging a recall potion faster than a beer we were peer pressured into drinking the moment we hear any kind of noise that comes from his top eye, avoiding damage as best we can while also applying as much damage as we can. The battle is astronomically slow, but pretty consistent. We stay away from the Moon Lord as much as we can, seeing as he wants to grab our nards and funnel them with his massive grippers. As much as this is a concept that we are interested in, we must refuse, considering that the last person that he did this to combusted on the spot and burned into a pile of ash. With this prospect on our minds, we stay as far away as we can from the massive Moon Man, wanting nothing to do with his offer in shoving as many chlorophyte bullets down his throat as we can. This makes him unreasonably upset as he tries desperately to convince us to drop trow, but we stand strong, gunning down all 3 of his eyes and finally making him combust himself as he realizes he doesn't have a penis. With the Moon Lord's defeat, we have finally finished this god-awful playthrough. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, tell me your favorite moments in the comments, and maybe even subscribe as well. I have even more content coming your way. I'll see all of you absolute giga chads of viewers in the next video.